I'll put the agenda. I can't until
This is the auditor.
All right, good evening, Springs BOE. We're live, you're being recorded. The phone lines are open and you're streaming to YouTube as well. You may begin your meeting.
Thank you, LTV. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for coming tonight. Vicky, can we do roll call, please?
Sure. In attendance tonight is Eric Fredrickson, Patrick Brabant, Emma Field, and Kate Saris.
All right, maybe stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, so tonight we're going to start with a presentation. We're going to have our auditors zoom in to present our external audit to kick things off. We'll see if we can bring them online.
Hey, Jeff. Yeah. Oh, you have it on. There we go. Did you? Yeah.
Back on our end.
Is
that on us?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Never mind, man.
There you go. Of course,
You
yeah.
have the mic on mute.
Yeah.
Yeah, her mic. Can you hear him?
Yeah.
No. I can't see it yet.
It looks like you guys have them coming in on a separate Zoom call.
Yes.
Yes. How can we hear him?
Well, I think you should log out, and Vicky, you need to give him the Zoom link that we're on, and he needs to I think he should log back in and come in through this Zoom. I'm not really sure how you have it set up.
Okay.
There we go. That should be it. Let's see, reading that, just make sure it's not- Oh, it's not sending. Hi, did you get the email? All right, perfect. Sorry about that. What happened is that we were trying to Google Meet inside the Zoom. So, yes, so you should be able to join the Zoom correctly and share your screen. Okay. All right, thank you. Yep. LTV. Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
All right, Jeff Jones is in. We're good. I'm gonna pause our sharing.
Okay, can everyone hear me?
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was good.
All
Yes.
right, perfect. Yeah, sorry about that. Sometimes with technology, it's both a good thing and a bad thing. Okay, Jonathan, did you want me just to roll right into it, or were you guys in the middle of something else?
Oh, you can begin. Do you want to share your screen?
Yep. All right, I just sent a request to be allowed to share it.
Send it to LTV.
That's a bad thing.
Okay, you should be able to see my screen now.
I'm gonna stop your sharing.
Okay.
Yeah, there we go.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, perfect. All right, so I'll just roll right into it. So thank you for having me here tonight. My name is Jeff Jones from EFPR Group. I'm a director with the firm, and I've been working now with the district for a couple of years. Tonight, I'm going to be going through an audit presentation for the year ended June 30th, 2024. This is going to be a more high-level overview of the results of the audit, just kind of going through a few items based on the results. The actual numbers themselves have been gone through with management and the audit committee in pretty good detail previously. So I'll just get right into it. So first I want to touch on our audit approach. We approach the audit by performing a detailed risk assessment of the district. Within that, we identified significant audit areas such as cash or liability, certain revenue accounts that we deemed to be different levels of testing needed. We then obtain an understanding of the internal controls of those audit areas. We then will go and test the effectiveness of those internal controls. Now, when we test internal controls, just as an example, if I want to look at your cash disbursement process, so your check writing process, I want to make sure if the district has a control in place that it's operating the exact same way, whether it be something for $100,000 or something for $100, because the control should always be there. Based on the test, the results of those tests, audit work programs are designed for each of the significant audit areas, and that allows us to then issue opinions on the financial statements. We do expect to issue unmodified opinions on the following reports. It was the basic financial statements, so that is the funds of the district as well as your district-wide. your federal grant compliance audit, also known as a single audit, this is something that's required for any entity that receives $750,000 or more of federal awards, and then also your extra classroom activity funds. Now, an unmodified opinion is also known as a clean opinion, and it's actually the best opinion that you can be given. It means that there is no true modifications to our audit plan, the audit strategy, or the numbers and notes of the district's financial statements. I'm happy to report that all records and information that we requested were freely available, whether it was on-site at the district or remotely, both before and after during our planning and wrap-up process. Whenever we needed something, Jonathan and the entire team there was very, very friendly and got us everything in a very timely manner. The results of our test disclosed no material weaknesses or significant deficiencies related to your internal controls over your financial reporting. The test did disclose one instance of noncompliance that we have to disclose under government auditing standards, and that is your actual unassigned fund balance. New York State says that you have to have it as 4% or less of next year's budget. This year, the district is at 4.9%, with a total about $1.8 million. Now, a lot of that is due to one of the unexpected revenue coming in from interest and earnings. As everyone knows, over the last year, interest rates have been, kind of going up through the roof. And with that, the more cash and investments that you have in kind of variable interest rate accounts means you're getting more money back. So the district had more revenue than anticipated there. Additionally, as a lot of the capital projects were getting wrapped up, a lot of those funds are actually getting moved back into the general fund. So the district administration has already started working through a plan in order to reduce this. That way next year it'll be below 4% and we'll be able to clear up this finding. We also noted that there was no material weaknesses or significant deficiencies in regards to non-compliance for the major federal programs or uniform guidance. And uniform guidance is referring to that single audit in regards to your federal awards. And as far as that single audit goes, we actually tested your Education Stabilization Fund as one of our programs. It's one of the programs that started up around the time of COVID, where the government started giving out additional funds for COVID. With it being such a new program, it was something that was a higher risk related program for the last few years. And we're happy to say that there was no findings there for the district. So that is the overview that I wanted to go through with you today. And then with that, I just wanted to open up if there's any questions.
Any questions from the board?
I was on the committee, so I didn't get much of the questions answered.
Thank you, Pat.
Okay. Well, in that case, I want to thank you for your time tonight. And, you guys had any questions, you can feel free to send me an email or give me a call.
Jeff, thank you so much for working with us and for your presentation this evening.
Yep. Thank you. Of course. It's a pleasure being here.
All the best.
Yep. Have a good night. Bye now.
All right, so we're going to open it up to public comment. Prior to public comment, I'd like to read this piece that I wrote to set the table. Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to convene in a public comment period of our meeting. It's absolutely crucial for us to hear from our community members about their concerns and issues and appreciate all of your comments. While we may not be able to respond to your comments and questions tonight, we do take them very seriously and want to have sufficient time to process and research issues if need be, so we can respond thoughtfully at a future meeting or have the proper staff member get back to you at the appropriate time. I also want to point out that under state and federal privacy laws, we are unable to entertain any comments or questions about school personnel or any individual identities. On these matters, we would ask you to go through the appropriate administrative channels. Finally, we intend that our school board meetings serve as an example to our students that members of our school board and members of our community can deal with controversial issues in a civil manner and demonstrate mutual respect. In that spirit, we ask that all speakers and members of the audience maintain civility and respect for any divergent views that may be expressed. We ask that speakers please address their comments to the board directly rather than the audience. Thank you. And now we're going to open it to public comment. For this section of public comment, we'll keep it on agenda items only. Is there anyone who would like to make a comment? Please approach the podium.
Good evening, David Buddha from Springs. First, I would like to ask you that when you get to agenda item 5.8, that you discuss one aspect of the internal audit on detailed testing of the payroll function in prior years. In particular, one finding stood out concerning the custodial contract, and that needs to be elaborated upon. One employee was paid an additional sum of $10,000 in 22-23, and the amount paid in 23-24 is about $8,000 higher than his or her contract amount. So obviously that's a problem, and I would like you to, having engaged your internal auditors to do that study, that you should actually discuss it at length. I believe that your reason for asking him arose from concerns over some of the teaching assistant salary issues that arose last year. Next, I see that this evening you are planning to adopt as item 5.9 a resolution revoking the resolution that was adopted September 10th, which purported to place $342,000 in a repair reserve fund. I will try to resist saying I told you so. I also see that you are planning to adopt as item 5.7 a corrective action plan for the non-compliance, which your external auditor just mentioned, non-compliance with New York State Real Property Tax Law Section 1318, which limits the amount of unexpended surplus funds that a district is permitted to retain as unrestricted fund balance. Although the adopted property tax card states that there will be a 10.8% increase in the tax levy, my calculation actually is based on the more updated July 1st assessment roll, that the actual increase that you are imposing on the taxpayers of the Springs will be 11.4% over the tax rate from the prior year. As I previously stated in September, and I'm going to reiterate it, the excessive surplus amount of $342,000 that cannot legally be put into a repair reserve fund at this time because it lacks prior voter approval should be used instead to reduce the amount required to be raised by the tax levy, which is the hefty sum of $33,900,488. Your so-called corrective action plan is to merely do nothing about the non-compliance situation and continue to retain this money as unrestricted fund balance or surplus in violation of state law, because you will be exceeding the allowable 4% maximum permitted until at least next May, quite some time in the future, when you indicate that you hope to have the voters approve funding of a new repair reserve fund. This, I feel, is truly a slap in the face of the Springs taxpayers. Let me remind you, and I know that depending on whether you look at the external auditor's report which lists reserve fund balances as of July 30th, or whether you look at the Treasurer's September report, which brings those reserve balances up to the end of September, you do have quite a substantial amount already in your repair reserve. In addition, you have a substantial amount of money that is still in the 2014 Capital Reserve Fund. Now, I'm not sure why. The intent of creating that reserve back in 2014 was to reduce the amount of money that you would need to raise by bonding when the major renovation expansion of the school was done. It was a $23 or $24 million project. You only had to bond 16.9 million dollars because you had several $million already that you had in reserve. Well, there still is today, either as of June 30th, 1.2 million, or as of September 30th, it's stated in the Treasurer's report, $823,000 in that capital reserve account. My recollection is that a year or two ago, I asked a predecessor business officer, what's the story with that leftover money? And I think what I was told, and I really don't remember specifically, was that when the septic grant money came in from the state and the town, that it was put back into the capital reserve fund because that was the most appropriate place to put it. Anyway, you do have reserves. You already have a repair reserve that's healthy. You have a capital reserve, which perhaps since the major renovation and expansion of the school is nearly complete, if not already complete, I'm not sure whether you can move that to other accounts, but $342,000 really would not make a tremendous difference in the tax rate, but it would be a sign of good faith and a token effort to respond to the fact that you had a lot of money left over. You over budgeted last year. You had unexpended funds. You were able to reestablish a full 4% in your surplus, and you have a little bit extra. And rather than sit on it illegally, unlawfully, until at least May, why don't you give it back to the taxpayers? Thank you.
Thank you for your point of view. I will say, as much as for the avoidance of doubt, we are really appreciative of our repair reserve. What's happening in May is basically a full reset of it, because we think it's important that we have the public weigh in on these matters. But I can say that we are very grateful for the valuable work that's happening in our school, thanks to the repair reserve, which is basically in place to take care of things that come up in any school that are allocated for the repair reserve, so that we don't have to pull from our unattached fund balance. And come May, we will reset that reserve and put it into the voters for the avoidance of doubt, so that we have a record of this repair reserve and the money that's going to go into it. So thank you very much. And I also wanted to note too, last year being an at-risk school, something to the tune of 0.25%. We're very thankful that this year we're back up to that 4%. Of course, we're over it. It's not uncommon for schools to do that, and we will certainly look to our administration to remedy that in the coming year. Thank you. Are there any other public comments at this time? All right. So we're going to move now to, I make a motion to approve.
Eric, just want to report, we have no callers on the line here as well.
Thank you, Matt. Apologize to the nasty soon. So we're going to move to our consent agenda items now. I'd like to ask for a motion to approve items 4.2 to 4.17 on our consent agenda. Do I have a motion? Do I have a second? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion carries. All right, so we're going to move to our business items section now. I'd like to ask for a motion to approve items 5.1 to 5.11 under business items on the agenda. Do I have a motion? Do I have a second? All those in favor? All right, so not actually, let's for now, Jonathan, can you review these items for us in the business section?
Of course. So I'll run down real quick. We have the prior meetings, board minutes approval. We have the checks cut in September, the warrants. We have the August and September treasurer's reports. We have the September appropriation and revenue status reports. The budget vote for the library was passed, so it's to approve the tax levies for both Springs and the library. We're gonna, sorry, my apologies. We have an intermunicipal agreement with East Hampton for payroll services and benefits. Unfortunately, we lost our account clerk who was in charge of payroll, so this will allow us to seamlessly transition and keep payroll going for the time being. As Jeff Jones from EFPR did a wonderful presentation on our annual financial statements and our independent auditor's report. A part of that too is also our corrective action plan on how we plan to correct their findings. The next item, this was a internal audit at the request of prior administration when they realized there was an issue with the payroll. They wrapped up the field work late last year. This is kind of just finalizing that report, and then we have the corrective action plan as well to the new procedures in place so we can ensure the items they found don't happen again. And I would be happy to announce that a lot of those are already in place and functioning properly. We have the rescinding of the repair reserve. And then we have a final indemnification agreement with BOCES. And then lastly, we have the acceptance of a food pantry. I don't know if anyone has noticed, it's already out front and stocked a little bit. I think it looks great. I'd like to thank East Hampton for their kind donation in that. And Mr. Andy Rigby, who is a resident of Springs, he was the individual at the high school who was in charge of that.
Thank you very much. You know who's stocking that?
Who's
The food pantry. Yeah, who's stocking food pantries?
I think that's
The community members,
community
staff.
staff.
You everybody drop it off?
Yeah, you just kind of put it right in there.
It
Yeah.
says, take what you can, take what you want, leave what you can. And it's, I thank Laura Marino, our art teacher. She made a beautiful sign that we attached to it this morning. And we will be announcing tomorrow to all staff that it's available for them to stock whenever they like.
That's a wonderful thing to have. Do we have any questions on the business items?
I think it's just worth noting that the intermunicipal agreement with East Hampton is a great example of how we're moving more towards shared services and hopefully saving the taxpayers of Springs additional money in doing so.
Yeah, no, that's
Thank
a
you so
great
much for
point.
leading
Yeah.
that effort.
From everything going on in our office to the repairs of buses to not having any issues, having a seamless transition from payroll. That's it's been very beneficial to our taxpayers and of course beneficial to our school. Thank you for putting in the corrective action plan too. I think that reinstills faith in that. And it sounds like I read some of that was supposed to happen in November, but you mentioned it's already in place now, some of those things.
Yes.
Yeah, that's wonderful. All right, well, thank you. Any more questions on this? All right, so now, do I have a motion, or rather, all those in favor of passing items 5.1 to 5.11, do I have all those in favor?
Right.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Nancy, will you do the superintendent's report for us, please?
Yes, thank you. So I'm very excited. We're welcoming some new staff members. Here tonight, I see we have one of them, Dylan Cucci. Dylan has been substitute teaching for us in the district since 2015, and he recently received his teaching certification and is being appointed as an elementary special ed teacher. This isn't a new position. He's been working in an ICT classroom as a substitute, and I would just like Dylan to stand and press. Dylan is very well loved throughout the Spring community. He's been here, as I said, for a long time, and we're very excited that he's part of our staff going forward. So welcome, Dylan, and congratulations. We also are appointing this evening Karina Wizambo, and Karina is being appointed as a custodial one worker. She's replacing a person who's worked here for a little while who had to resign due to other obligations. And we welcome her, and we're excited. She's somebody as well who has substitute taught in the district. Been a substitute custodian in the district for quite a while. She does an excellent job, and we're happy to welcome her to be part of our custodial staff. Also, we're appointing Veronica Bermillo and Eurelena Tragos. They're being appointed as teaching aides. And these are paraprofessionals who work one-on-one with special needs students. These students are required to have an aide based on their IEPs. Montauk will actually be reimbursing us for one of these aides who's working with a student from Montauk who's in one of these programs. So we're happy to welcome them. They provide a very needed and very special support service for our students here in Spring School. So we thank them for being here. We are appreciative of all the people, especially local people who apply for positions in the district. We've been very fortunate in hiring local people. So we're very happy to welcome them all aboard. We're also appointing tonight some coaches for our upcoming sports season. These coaches, as you're aware, provide great team building skills for our students. And we really do in Springs have a very terrific athletic program. We're thankful for all the teachers who provide coaching for our students and for all the sports activities that we're able to provide here at Springs. And then just want to talk about a few upcoming and current events. Our 8th grade students visited Quinnipiac Camp and Retreat on Shelter Island, both yesterday and today. This is an annual retreat that we have for our students to participate in. It focuses on team building and collaboration among students and staff. I remember when I was here, we used to do it at Boys Harbor, and just a wonderful retreat and experience for our 8th grade students that they look forward to every year. And it's a very special occasion, and I'm really happy that it's continued for all these years. Also, just want to mention Sergeant Ken Alversa is going to be addressing on our staff this Thursday. He's going to be reviewing emergency response procedures and active shooter protocol. And I just want to mention we're so appreciative of the support and presence the East Hampton Town Police provide for our district. They're here on a daily basis, and they really do work very collaboratively with us to be sure that we have everything in place to be safe here for our students and our staff. Also, we're going to have a guest speaker at our Spirit Meet this Friday, as well as our first pep rally for our our middle school students. And his name is Chris Carney, no relation. And he's from the Wounded Warrior Project. And he is going to be here and sharing information about the documentary Soldier Ride, which raises funds for the Wounded Warrior Project. So we're very excited to welcome here this Friday and looking forward to a great presentation.
Is that the Spirit Meet?
Yes, he's going to be at the Spirit Meet in the morning and then the pep rally in the afternoon for our middle school students. Also, our PTA Fall Book Fair is going to be held October 21st through 25th in the small gym. And just want to say this is one of the most significant fundraisers our PTA does. And it provides really wonderful enrichment for our students through field trips and other events. We really thank our PTA for all they do for our students. They're very involved, and they do provide so many different activities and events for our students. Also, just want to mention November 1st, we have the Neo-Political Cowgirls who are going to be bringing a Shakespearean production to our 8th grade students. Local resident, Kate Muir, she's runs this organization, and she reached out to Spring School to ask if we'd like to participate. We're very thankful for her reaching out to us, and it should be a really great experience for our students. And I want to particularly thank our teacher, Emily O'Reilly. She's worked very closely with Kate in helping to organize the production. I'll let you all know how it goes after the first. And that evening will be our first dance, our first fall dance for our middle school students here from 6:30 to 8:30 in the gym. So that should be a whole lot of fun. And just wanted to mention as well that the food pantry is going to be open soon. We're going to be encouraging all our staff and community members who have non-perishables that they would like to contribute. You just open the doors, you put the non-perishables in, people can pull up and take whatever they need. We just think it's a wonderful opportunity for both our students and staff to participate in, as well as for our community members who might benefit from having a little extra supplies there that they need for their family. And then I just wanted to put up our enrollment report right now. As I said, we do these monthly. And our enrollment has basically been steady since our last board meeting. We are down 8 students, pre-K through 8, and we're up 6 students at the high school. So we're basically in the same place where we were. As I said, one of the reasons that we do make sure that we have enough funded for our high school students, because it fluctuates regularly. As I said, we are up 6 students at the high school. So hopefully we're going to stay really constant as we go forward. But we are basically very close to our enrollment last year, but just a little bit down with that. One of the most significant things to be aware of as we go down the road is that our pre-K is much less than it has been in the past. So we have 38 students currently in our pre-K. Last year at the same time, we had 54 students, actually close to 60 by the time we ended. So it's something we're going to be looking at as we are going forward to see if that's going to increase, as well as looking at our kindergarten registration for next year. And then I just want to end. First, I want to acknowledge a PTA member, Martha Lee. I don't know if you noticed when you're going down School Street at different times, we have some very beautiful pots in front of our entrance that have been here all summer, and they're here in the fall with new plantings in them. And we just wanted to thank Martha Lee. She plants during the different season flowers in those pots, and she maintains them and waters them. And we just want to thank her. Just that little effort really helps to beautify. I love flowers, so it makes me smile every day. And I just wanted to say thank you to her. And then I also wanted to thank East Hampton Town Highway Superintendent Stephen Lynch. I had given him a call. I think I mentioned to the board, we had those very deep potholes coming into the pre-K entrance as you went in. I had given him a call, and within a couple of days, they were all filled. So I just want to say thank you to him very much for the quick response. It's much appreciated, and I think all of our cars are very appreciative as well. So, and then I just want to end sharing. We have this brief public service announcement video. It was created by one of our 7th grade students, Francisco Vasquez. He's created videos in the past, and it's a public service announcement about litter on our beaches. And he created this on his own, and it is going to be aired on LTV. And I wanted to share it with the board and community because I think he deserves some praise for being a community activist at such a young age.
Sound.
No, it's on unmute. You have to unmute it. You unmute.
It's not gonna let us unmute.
Yeah, it's not gonna.
Can we run it
You have to
through
unmute
LTV?
it.
You
Like,
can't because the speaker makes it.
Oh,
does the TV have a
Hold
speaker
on,
itself?
I played it earlier at work.
Yeah.
I had it playing earlier. Why?
No.
Yeah.
It is.
Came up with this.
no. We are down a technology person in case anyone didn't realize. He left and took a job in Suffolk County up Island. We are in the process of looking for somebody
Oh,
else.
wait.
Feeling the impact in real
Corner
time.
one.
Yes, we're feeling the
Wait.
impact.
There is a button on the volume on the
Hold on.
TV.
One of the
Nope, not that button.
Not that one, right?
No, it's not the TV. It's not the TV. It's
Not
not-
TV?
Nope.
I think it has something to do with,
It's this.
the hosting of LTV.
Yeah.
Who can lip read?
We can put LTV off and just keep it on.
Oh, yeah, public commentary coming up, right?
Stop sharing.
Yeah, that might be.
Or stop share. That's me.
Oh, yes, now you can probably pull it up to play it.
I think it's been mandatory. We have a 7th and 8th grade student in every board meeting. Help us do
To do the technology.
technology.
Yes.
I second that.
The second that is good.
I think Francisco would do a great job.
No, I don't.
Okay, well, we will get this fixed and show it the next time because it's just something that I think is it's really something to celebrate that students this young are taking an interest in their community. Obviously, they're talking about litter and cleaning up the beaches, and that each of us can, just by doing a little bit, really make a big
Can you
difference.
share it on our website?
It's actually going to be
It's on-
aired on LTV.
It's on YouTube or on.
It's on YouTube.
So
we
it's
can
on the
put a
school
link.
website?
Yeah, we can put a link on our website.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have it there. It's a positive role and it's great
I
for
know.
people to see.
Yeah, it is. Anyway.
Some of us don't use YouTube.
Are we giving it one
It's on
more shot?
LTV.
No,
Would
no.
you like to
I-
move
It's
on? All
because we
right.
have to share so
Yeah.
much. It's
No,
just-
thank you
I
so
thought
much
you
for
used
I
that.
had it working before we went on LTV.
Before we went live.
We might be able to have that on our site though, and people can reference it.
Yeah,
And
we'll
maybe
have
at the
to put
next
it on the
meeting, if we
website.
sort it, we could show it then. But it's a wonderful video. The spirit of that, I think, is a wonderful thing for our students taking initiative like that. But for now, I ask for a motion to approve items 6.1 to 6.9 under the superintendent's report and the recommendations. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. I also want to say welcome aboard to Dylan and those here. Thank you. Welcome our team, everyone that we just appointed to spring school. That's very excited to have you here. So now we're going to enter into public comment number 2. This can be more general. Do we have anyone who would like to join the podium and mention anything? All right. And Matt on LTV, do we have any callers?
We have no callers at this time, Eric.
Ryan Scala, 5th grade teacher. No, I know that you can't comment on personnel, but I noticed that there were 3 teaching assistants that resigned, and I was just curious if there are going to be efforts to replace them, because teaching assistants are so invaluable, especially at the primary grades in supporting early literacy. So I was just curious, seeing that and then knowing that we've lost some teaching assistants in the past. Are efforts going to be made to replace those positions or not?
Thank you very much. I don't know if we could answer that now.
I can, most of them have already been replaced.
Okay.
So we're very fortunate. We congratulate these teaching, one teaching assistant moved away up island. Another, for her credit, she became a teacher and she got her certification and took a position in another school district as a teacher, and the other one left for other reasons. And we have been already able. I have to give Miss Janice, Suzanne Janice, from our personnel department, a lot of credit. She's actively pursued both the teaching assistants we need and the teacher aides, teaching aides that we need in the district, and we're in pretty good shape at this point. So I appreciate the comment, and we've done, I think, a good job in making sure we have the support we need.
Excellent.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah. Do we have on our website when we have job openings? I know we're short of a tech person. Do we?
The tech
Does our website list jobs?
So the tech is we contract out to an organization for our tech support, and they are actively hiring. They interviewed 2 people this week, and we'll be interviewing them here during the next few days to see if we hopefully have someone who's a good fit for Springs. And we post mostly on OLAS, which is where people go to look for positions in school districts, or we canvass the civil service list if it's clerical people that we need. But as I say, Ms. Janice has been extremely aggressive in making sure that we are filling the positions that we need, and we appreciate the hard work that our clerical staff's doing.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Any questions from the board about anything? We're good. And any other people would like to come up? Any public comment?
I'll just try to ask a question. I don't know if I'm going to answer.
You could always try.
You asked the question, there's your answer.
I'd like to ask this treasurer if he could opine on how the district intends or plans or hopes to use the existing repair reserve fund and existing capital reserve fund, which taken together amount to about $1.8 million. You have tonight expressed the opinion that you see a need to create a new, more robust repair reserve. So I'm just wondering if you can comment on what we have now and why we need more.
Right. You can comment. I can also comment on that.
I don't think the goal is to make the repair reserve more robust. I think it's more to define, give it more definition, as it currently has vagueness going back through the years of what its intentions were. Going forward, though, I think with the Buildings and Grounds Committee, I think we should develop a 5-year capital plan and then see if we could use those funds to make improvements around the district that won't have a direct effect on the taxpayers because of those monies already in the reserve.
There are, and Mr. Buda, we constantly, one of the things that we needed to do as part of different regulations we have from the state is doing constant walkthroughs of the building for looking and pointing out any issues in the building that are safety hazards or workplace hazards. As the board knows, we talked about the soffits and the moldings around the whole front of the building that are rotting away. The cupolas are going to need repair down the road. This is an old building, and we had a discussion about this today, actually, with a regional meeting about how important it is to have repair reserves so that you're not letting something that's happened in another district. They didn't put money in repair reserves, and they're going out for a very significant, huge bond because they weren't able to maintain their buildings. And one of the things, a lot of money was put into this building, putting the addition on. We have old connected to new. And as we all know, just like with your home, if you maintain it, it's much more financially sound than letting it just completely fall apart and then having to repair it. So the goal here is to constantly be looking for things. Our boilers are very old. We have hot water heaters. We have a lot of infrastructure that we constantly need to look at to see what has to be repaired. We had a lot of issues over the summer that we had to repair with leaking roofs, with different things going on in the building, with hot water heaters. There's things in an old building that come up all the time. And we just need to be sure that we have a repair, we have a reserve so that we can address these, and it's not going to cause any kind of spike in going out to the property owners.
Okay, that's the repair reserve. What about the capital reserve, which, as I understand, derives back to 2014 when the plans were started for the major renovation?
The capital reserve is still not closed, so we have some open-ended issues that have to be dealt with prior to the capital reserve being closed. We're working on that now. We need to get all of those open-ended projects. We still have things that aren't working properly, that we're working with contractors who worked on the building and trying to hold them accountable to fix those things that were not done properly. So we've been working very diligently to get that done and closed so that we can get our building aid flowing, and then we can resolve the end of the capital reserve. But it's a very good point. And as I said, this is something we're just working on now as we have new administration here that's very dedicated to getting all of these things completed and done so that we can move forward as a district.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I know it all, not all, but so for the capital reserve, in the financial statements, I would have to look it up. It says the period of funding and the maximum funding that they can do for it. Depending on where it is in its funding, I don't see in the foreseeable future us putting any more money into that reserve if it's not already exceeded its maximum funding. To use that reserve, we would have to go out to vote a proposition, which again is something we would work with the board and the Buildings and Grounds Committee on to see what projects would require large amounts of money that we would let the voters determine if that's how they wish to use the money. Eventually, over time, if the money is not used, then the voters could vote to close the fund as well.
Am I correct?
Mr. Buddha, just adjust the board when you talk, and then we can.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Am I correct, if anyone knows, whether the source of the funds that remain in the capital reserve have anything to do with the reimbursements or grants that were received from the state and the town for the septic upgrade?
Are you prepared to answer, or we'll wait and figure out what the answer is?
I would have to
another
do
time?
more research and get back to them on that. But that's definitely something I can investigate for you.
Right, because I mean, there's a large capital reserve left over from the construction that was bonded, and I'm just wondering where that came from. Thank you.
We'll look into it. Thank you very much. Were there any comments from those here tonight? Going once, going twice. Matt, LTV.
Still no callers on the line.
Well, in that case, thank you all for coming tonight. Thank you all for your comments. I'm going to now make a motion to adjourn. Do I have a motion? Do I have a second? All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, everyone.